There's a brand new motorhome sitting in the back lot of an RV dealership in Indiana right now. It cost someone over $90,000. It has been parked there since before Thanksgiving. The owner has been paying insurance on it every month, paying the loan on it every month, paying storage fees on an empty driveway every month. And the dealer has not so much as opened the door to look at it. This is not a malfunction. This is not a freak supply chain story. This is the system working exactly the way it was designed to work. And the people who built that system are counting on you to never figure it out. The warranty you were handed at delivery is not protection. It is a leash. It is the legal mechanism that turns a broken RV into your problem, funnels you back to the same dealer who gets paid less to fix it than he gets paid to sell a new one, and keeps you pacing a gravel service yard in southern Indiana, waiting on a part that was never coming. 6 months at the dealer is not the outlier. It is the average, dressed up in paperwork and signatures. And once you understand how the trap was built, you will never walk onto another RV lot the same way again. Number 1. The warranty you signed looks like a promise. It reads like a promise. The salesman sold it to you like a promise. But strip away the glossy cover, and what you actually have is a cage. That warranty only works at an authorized dealer. It only covers repairs the claims office in Elkhart, Indiana decides to cover. And it does not require a single dealer in the entire country to actually accept your unit for service. That is not an accident. It is deliberate. Dealerships in almost every state are under no legal obligation to service an RV they did not sell themselves. Walk into a local shop carrying a warranty issued by the same brand they have on the lot, and they can and will say no. They will tell you they're booked until next season. They will tell you the bays are full. They will tell you they prioritize their own customers. And they will be telling the truth, because servicing you is a money-losing headache they would rather the guy 500 miles away deal with. So the dealer who sold you the rig becomes your only real option. Maybe he's 100 miles away. Maybe he's 3 states away because you bought at an RV show. Maybe he went out of business last spring. Maybe he just doesn't care anymore because he already collected his commission 18 months ago. None of that matters. You tow your broken home on wheels back to his lot. You sign the intake paperwork, and you join the line. The warranty technically applies. Good luck using it. Number 2, and this is where the knife starts to turn. Warranty work is not just inconvenient for the dealership. It is actively unprofitable for them, and the manufacturer has made sure of it. When your RV is in the shop under warranty, the factory, not you, is paying the dealer. And the factory does not pay retail rates. They pay a flat reimbursement based on a time allowance book that assigns fixed minutes to each job. 15 minutes to replace a speaker, 20 minutes to swap a stereo, 30 to chase a leak. Those numbers have almost nothing to do with what the work actually takes on a hand-built coach with no wiring diagrams and no published plumbing schematics. A technician can burn 3 hours trying to track down a shorted speaker, and the dealer gets paid for 15 minutes. Everything else they eat. Now put yourself in the service manager's shoes. On one side of the shop, a cash-paying retail customer wants new solar installed and is going to bring in $200 an hour in labor. On the other side, a warranty job that pays half that and will take triple the allotted time. Which bay gets filled first? Which owner gets the call back first? Which rig sits on the lot for 6 weeks before anyone touches it? Your RV is not sitting because nothing is happening. It is sitting because the dealership earns more money every hour it stays in line. Warranty work is the lowest priority labor in the building. It is scheduled last, diagnosed last, ordered last, finished last. The factory wrote the reimbursement rules that guaranteed it. Number 3. Say your rig finally gets pulled into a bay. A technician diagnoses the problem. You think you're close. You're not close. You are about to enter the second chamber of the trap, which is manufacturer approval. Before the dealer can do a single thing, he has to submit a warranty claim with photographs, descriptions, part numbers, and a repair estimate to the manufacturer. Someone in Elkhart has to open that claim, decide whether it's a covered defect, decide whether the labor estimate is reasonable, decide whether to authorize the fix or push back with questions. This process does not take 24 hours. It takes 1 to 3 weeks when everything goes smoothly. Owners routinely report dealers claiming they're waiting on the manufacturer, only to phone the manufacturer directly and find out no claim was ever filed, or that the claim was denied and nobody bothered to pass the message along. If approval finally comes through, the parts get ordered, which starts another clock. The average warranty repair in America now runs 50 days start to finish. If the parts are on back order, and they often are, the average jumps to 73. That number is drawn from more than 41,000 real work orders and nearly 300 U.S. dealerships. We are not guessing. This is documented reality. And while your rig sits, the calendar keeps moving toward the end of your 1-year warranty. You do the math. You do it again. And you realize that if this drags on much longer, the warranty itself might time out before the repair is done. That is not a bug. That is a feature the industry quietly benefits from every single day. Number 4. Here's where it gets ugly. Because the question nobody in the industry wants asked out loud is this one. Why does a brand new, factory-fresh RV, a vehicle you just paid 6 figures for, need major warranty work in the first place? The answer is that it was already broken when you bought it. RVs are not manufactured the way cars are manufactured. There is no robotic assembly line. There is no meaningful automated quality control. The vast majority of every RV sold in America is hand-built in a cluster of plants around Elkhart, Indiana, by workers paid on a piece rate system that rewards speed above everything else. The faster they finish a unit, the more they take home. Many clock out early once they hit their daily quota. And no one, literally no one, is seriously inspecting what just rolled off the line. Wand panels get stapled to stud walls. Roof seams get laid down under a deadline. PX lines get run through wall cavities nobody will ever see again until they fail. Consider what that produces. Recall records show microwaves punctured by screws that were the wrong length. Furnace flues installed crooked, discovered a full month after the employee who was checking them had quit. In 2023, a major manufacturer recalled dozens of campers because the factory had run out of the correct fuse and workers just installed whatever was within arm's reach, creating an active fire risk in every unit. Forest River alone, a Berkshire Hathaway subsidiary, the second largest RV maker in the country, averaged around 50 recalls a year over the last decade, more than any automaker or RV maker in the nation. Nearly half of those recalls were not engineering defects. They were assembly mistakes. People just doing the job wrong. A field inspection by attorneys pursuing one class action found that roughly 60% of sampled Forest River fifth wheels carried the same wiring defect that had already triggered a recall covering over 41,000 units. Dealers on a private industry conference call used the word horrendous to describe current build quality. One said it was the worst product he had seen in 30 years on the lot. You did not buy a finished product. You bought a project. And the 6 months it spends at the dealer is the factory's punch list quietly becoming yours. Number 5. If you think that is the bottom, wait until you see what happens when the dealer actually tries to fix it. The parts you need do not exist. There are more than 11 million RVs on American roads right now. That is roughly double the number from 20 years ago. Meanwhile, the number of qualified RV technicians has barely moved. Industry figures put the ratio at roughly 1 tech for every 4,000 rigs in the country. Service departments are booked 6 to 10 weeks out just to get you into a diagnostic bay. Not to repair anything, just to look at it. Some shops have stopped accepting outside units entirely. Parts are worse. Manufacturers share suppliers, and those suppliers have been backlogged since 2020 with no real recovery. About 24% of work orders sitting in American RV shops on any given day are delayed specifically because parts aren't available. An air conditioner on back order for 2 months. A slide motor drifting on a container ship. An interior molding strip that the factory never sent at all, noted on invoice after invoice for over a year with no explanation. One dealership kept a coach 6 straight weeks waiting on a single piece of trim that never arrived. The industry knows. One major manufacturer recently announced with pride that they had just built a new warehouse to stock parts for their last 3 model years. Think about what that sentence actually means. They were admitting in public that for years they had not been stocking replacement parts for RVs they were still selling. That is the baseline. That is what you're walking into the moment you hand your broken rig to a dealer and ask for help. Number 6. Now for the part that really seals the trap. Because even if every other system failed you, even if the dealer quit, even if the factory stonewalled, even if the parts never came, you might think you could just sue. You cannot. Not easily. Not where you live. Open your warranty. Actually read the back pages. In most towable RV warranties from Grand Design, Forest River, and their dozens of subsidiary brands, you will find a clause stating that every legal dispute over that warranty must be filed in a court within the state of Indiana, under Indiana law. Not your state. Not where you live. Not where the RV broke. Indiana, where the manufacturer is, where their lawyers are, where the courts are already saturated with these cases. California buyers are currently being forced into Indiana courts by judges upholding those forum selection clauses, even when California has its own stronger consumer protections under the Song-Beverly Consumer Warranty Act. There is more for the warranty period expires to actually file suit. Miss that window and you're done. State lemon laws in most states cover only the chassis of a motorhome, not the living quarters, not the fridge, not the roof, not the slide, not the plumbing, not the wiring. So half your rig was never protected by the laws you assumed covered everything. And because each appliance in that coach carries its own separate warranty from a different manufacturer, you are not fighting one company. You are fighting 6. And every single one of them is hoping you give up before the paperwork lands on their desk. The trap is not just the repair line. It is the entire legal architecture built on top of it. None of this is an accident. It is not growing pains. It is not bad luck. It is the business model. An industry consolidated under 3 giant conglomerates, built on piece rate labor in one Indiana county, protected by forum selection clauses written by their own attorneys, and serviced by a dealer network that actively loses money every time it picks up a wrench on your behalf. The manufacturer profits on the way in. The dealer profits on the way in. The finance company profits on the way in. Everyone in the chain gets paid before the defects ever surface. And when the defects do surface, and they will, you are the one holding the leash of a warranty that does not actually force anyone to fix anything on any timeline that matters. The RVs that rolled off lots 20 and 30 years ago were simpler, heavier, built with bolts instead of staples, made by hourly workers whose paychecks did not depend on how fast they could slam another unit out the door. They leaked less. They lasted longer. Their owners did not spend half the camping season parked at a dealership waiting for permission to use what they already paid for. You did not buy a recreational vehicle. You bought a position in a line. Subscribe for more of the truth the RV industry would rather you never hear.